Okay, I think we are live. Celebrate. Anniversary. Let's see how we're looking before we go any further. Okay. Let's see how we're looking before we... Okay. I'm convinced. All I got to do... All right. And hopefully this does not crap out at all while I'm doing stuff. So I just realized that today is August 14th, 2016. This is the 12th anniversary of when I first publicly screened a milestone in Zilla's career, Atomix. It was originally meant to be his first talking film. It was conceived as early as 2000, in which the story was serialized in my high school newspaper, The Chief, at Massapequa High School, into, let me see, I think it was 4 parts. I think it was broken up into 4 parts. Unfortunately, only 3 parts survive today. I'm missing the I think the third. I think the third part is missing. Technically, it's a 5-parter because I was able to get like a double-length strip into 1 issue. If anyone has any of their school newspapers from Massapequa High School from that year, I would love to get a copy of it. I'm not going to pay a crap ton of money for it, so understand that it's really not worth anything. It's sentimental to me. So if you have it, let's talk. You know how to get a hold of me. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Twitter. Send me a private message. So anyways, the story of Atomix basically is very simple. A nuclear warhead, codenamed Atomix, is stolen by some gangsters, and Luckyzilla hunts them down and tries to get it back. He realizes it's part of a much bigger picture, and that, you know, a more major terrorist organization is involved with it. For those of you who have seen it, great. If you haven't, stop watching this live broadcast now and go watch it. Let me see if I can post a link in the chat. That's the link to Atomix if anyone wants to watch. which I suggest that you do because it's awesome. Atomix was created using Microsoft Paint. Yeah, put that in your pipe and smoke it. Let's see. I've got some... Bear with me for a sec. So I've got some original Atomix crap to show off. I'm proud of this stuff. All right. So what we're going to look at now is an original concept title card for Atomix. That was created about 2001 because I thought I was going to have the film out in 2002. Look at that awful Luckyzilla logo. These characters were drawn in Microsoft Paint, as was this title card. And that that woman on the left, that's Harmony D'Angelo. She looks like she has severe neck problems. So, wait a minute. Screen sharing and presenting to everybody. Okay. All right. So, where was I? Obviously, you know, Technicolor, that's copywritten. Can't really use that. A Rich Dresden comic. That was something that Walt Disney put on his earlier films, which I thought was kind of cool. And what ended up happening in the title sequence is that, you know, you would have the series name, then you'd have the title, and then everything else, all of this would fade out, and you just have the title. And I thought, you know, that's actually pretty cool. I'd love to be able to do that. And so I did. So now, let me, just in case there's anything too embarrassing that I don't want to reveal. Let me skip ahead. This is a concept drawing of Atomix that did not appear. This did not appear in the final cartoon. Got lucky observing some gangsters from a distance. Now, for those of you that have seen Atomix, I cut right to the chase almost immediately. There was actually, speaking of which, it's funny I mentioned that. There was supposed to be a chase sequence in Atomix. It was supposed to be a car chase, but I eventually just had Lucky following this guy, the Frog, all over town, and it was basically a foot race. And this guy, the Frog, you know, was kind of all over the place. You know, he was like a sort of a Spider-Man type of guy. But what was happening here was Lucky was observing the terrorists, the gangsters, if you will, who have just abducted Atomix. And, you know, I mean, he's just basically, you know, plotting things out, you know, seeing, you know, all the angles. And, you know, he's planning to maybe have some fun with them first before carting them all off. Okay. Let's look at some more. This next one is going to seem politically incorrect. So just fair warning. I can't believe that I drew this, but you know, a lot of tension in the world at this time. So please accept my humble apologies. This is a caricature of Yasser Arafat, who was the Palestinian leader. And at the time, he was kind of not well liked by a lot of people. And the additional terrorists in the film were Muslims and everything. So that's not good. You know, I mean, 9/11, you know, really like ignited a lot of people's attitudes, my own included. And I mean, if I could look back to how old was I? I think it was like 16, 17. If I could look back to my 17-year-old self and be like, dude, what the hell are you doing? That's not right. That's not right. And I look at this now and I kind of feel embarrassed. This was actually the very first piece of animation produced for Atomix. See? Up against the wall, wham. And this, of course, was reanimated in widescreen. I mean, the animation looks pretty good, but I mean, this pisses me off. So wait a minute. So anyways, let me try and repeat that actually. Yep. This is a sequence. This is the first sequence animated for Atomix, but it did not end up in the finished film. As you can see, there's a caricature of Yasser Arafat, who was the former leader of Palestine. I think he died, so yeah. But this is kind of politically incorrect, and since then I've, you know, kind of made it a point, well, you know, not officially, just kind of, you know, unofficially, that, you know, political correctness, you know, it's not like I strive for political correctness, but, you know, I mean, I don't consider myself a racist. I don't hate Muslims. I don't hate anybody that's a different religion than me. I'm not even religious. Yeah, as you can probably tell, I'm really comfortable mentioning all of this. I mean, when I look at drawings like this, you know, and I think of the attitudes that people had towards Muslims or Palestinians at that time, it kind of makes me upset. You know, I wish I could, you know, reach back in time to my 16 or 17-year-old self, however old I was. I think I was just about to turn 17 at the time, and just be like, dude, not all Muslims are bad. Not all Arabs are bad. Cut it out. Don't do shit like this. It's not right. You know, because then you're not part of the problem. Then you're not part of the solution. You're part of the problem. Now, I mean, it's fine to caricature, you know, world leaders here and there, but this isn't quite Yasser Arafat. Originally, it was going to be him, Saddam Hussein, and a few others. Yeah. I mean, look at those nasty teeth. Lucky blinking. Animation looks okay. I mean, it's so primitive. This was done all in MS Paint. This sequence was one of the very few that I've totally reanimated. This was done circa 2002, when the whole thing with 9/11. I mean, for those of you who've seen Atomix, you know that Osama bin Laden makes a cameo at the end, and Lucky bumps heads with him and the villain in the short, Rocky Bonomo. He knocks their heads together, knocks them out, and then they're sitting in the same jail cell. Well, Interestingly enough, we know that in history that, of course, did not happen. Osama bin Laden was not captured. He was killed in his compound in Pakistan, I think it was. So, yeah, one way or another, he did kind of get caught, I guess. So now let's see. What other goodies do I have here? I think that's it for this folder. Original art. Okay. I have some designs for Harmony D'Angelo. Let's actually, Oh, I've been looking for that. I'll get to this in a second. I'm just kind of flying by the seat of my pants right now. I'm not exactly sure what order I'm going to be doing this in. Okay, so that title is lost. One of these days, I'm going to get to making an HD version of Atomix. Let's see what's in posters. All right. What you're going to see now is the VHS cover for Atomix. All right, there we go. I forget exactly what I was trying to match with this, but yeah, there it is. Pixelated as shit. This is the back VHS cover. Some really silly pixelated Luckies. This graphic was used on a lot of Luckyzilla art that I did between 2004 and 2005. It's the same thing over and over again, I think. Oh, okay, that's good. I'm still getting the hang of how the streaming works, so now let's see. All right, this is the animation test again for Atomix. It's politically incorrect, so just got to put that out there. That black space there was for a cut to a close-up. This way we can just see it in real time. Now, again, I did this cartoon in Microsoft Paint and MGI Video Wave 4. So I was using the mouse and some shape tools to draw all this crap. So I mean, I haven't seen a lot of this stuff in like 10 years. One of the things I'm trying to find now, which I seem to be having some trouble with, is finding the trailer. I made a trailer for Atomix, but because there was no YouTube in 2004, there wasn't really a way that I could like upload it to anything. Oh well. It's got to be here somewhere. But what I will show some effects tests. All right, now I mean this is just basic. This is just very basic special effects stuff. Okay, now there is a. I'm going to show you the final composite. Now, I had never done anything like this. This is doing backgrounds. I would have the characters and the backgrounds in the same frame, and then just save each and every frame one at a time, moving the character, drawing whatever I had to do, but it would all be on the same exact thing. In this particular case, since I wanted to have more than one thing going on in the background, that's not so much the case with this shot now. But on the same token, I mean, I wanted to have cars going by and, you know, possibly a plane flying by. So it's really tough to do all within the same frame. So then what I had to do was, you know, figure out layering. And I did not have even Photoshop at this time. There was no using layers. And furthermore, PNGs were not an accepted file type in MGI Video Wave 4. All I knew were bitmaps, JPEGs. Would have been helpful because they can be transparent, you know, have an alpha channel or everything. So you see that there's a pink background. Now I'm going to show you. Let's see. What else do I got here? I saw it just a second ago. It's going to drive me crazy now. So basically what I would do, I'll plan out my scene or whatever and just kind of, sort of, you know, pick out which colors I would use and which colors I wouldn't use. See, I don't know if the file is getting old or if it's just, you know, because I'm using VLC, that it seems to be a little corrupted. But you see how there's that green, this green right here that's in the background is nowhere else on any of these elements. So when I brought it into MGI, I was very surprised. I mean, I'm surprised thinking about it now that MGI had the way to superimpose, you know, green screen effects. And you could do this for up to one layer at a time. So it's like I could have this element, and then I could have I could have it over a background, and I could have this on top of it. But if I wanted to have more than that, I would have to render this on top of a background or another layer, and then render that together. Render that, then superimpose it onto another background, and so on and so forth. And you could probably tell, like, right on top of this car, there's a little bit of pixelation. That would become a lot more abundant because all of Atomix was originally rendered as an MPEG-1 video. MPEG-1 video is like just barely above VHS quality. I mean, MP2 is DVD, but that's neither here nor there. Now let's see. What else? Oh, God. Okay. We're going to look at designs for Harmony D'Angelo. Wow. Can't believe I'm about to show you. These, I haven't looked at these in at least 10 years. So here we go. Now, Harmony D'Angelo had much longer hair in previous incarnations, but this is where we start to see Harmony evolve a little bit more. This is the first short-haired Harmony. She also looks a bit too Jessica Rabbit from what she looks like now. I mean, you know, in a strapless dress. That's not how detectives dress. Although at the same time, I hadn't really figured out her character yet. I'm going to get the hand tool away from her breasts because that's kind of naughty. Originally, Harmony was a very ditzy blonde. By this time, she was kind of starting to calm down just a little bit, as evidenced by the expression on her face. And what I'm going to show, this right here, the platinum blonde, was actually what I was going for, and I did an animation test based on it, although ultimately she ended up a brunette. She was originally, when she was first conceived in 2000, was it? No, 1999. 1999, I created Harmony. She was originally a blonde, and I guess this would have sort of worked. So now we are going to take a look at an animation test of Harmony D'Angelo dancing. There might be music in it. Okay, I'm gonna turn this down because it's copyrighted music. So, okay, let's see. Brace yourselves, people. This is gonna be weird. Yeah, look at that. Okay. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Oh, God. This is not something Harmony would ever do now. I think it's, yeah, just about done. God. That's so embarrassingly bad. But at the same time, you know, this is where I was 12 years ago. I was a 18-year-old kid. He was making cartoons in his mother's basement. No, wait a minute. This is 2004. I was 19. You know, that's the funny thing about Atomix being kind of on and off for about 3.5, almost 4 years. It doesn't make me feel so bad about having, you know, the animation for the brand new Luckyzilla taking over a year and a half, almost 2 years to produce, because the script for that one was written 8 years ago. That's what happens when you animate by yourself. Let's see if I have any other tests available. I do. All right, I have an alternate rain and lightning sequence. The rain is a lot thicker in here. I eventually took that out. Pretty sure I took it out. Here's the rain at 50 tolerance. See, it looks a lot more natural here. And now we got the 35 tolerance. You tell me if you notice a difference. Oh, wait a minute. Shoot. I wasn't screen sharing that. Let me just share the other screen. I apologize for those of you who haven't seen any of this. Oy vey. This is the raw rain. I would always over-render when I was doing these shots. This has the thicker raindrops. I'm going to hide something here because some of it's a little personal, even though it kind of just showed up. This is without the big drops of rain. So it looks a lot more natural, I think. Now let's look at the 35 tolerance. I think the 35 is what I ended up using in the final version. Let's see, we're going to look at some talking tests now. Hopefully these play okay.
Oh, great, it talks! You ain't heard nothing yet. But you won't be hearing much more unless you turn over that warhead right now. You got it, man!
Okay, that's all for that. Let's see. There was one that had some stuff.
Oh, great, it talks!
Yep, that's one of the things I was looking for. I put X's on a card prior to the animation so that this way, because I was doing the animation first, this is like Steamboat Willie style. I was post-dubbing the dialogue.
Oh, great, it talks!
That's the take that ended up in the film. That's me doing the voice of the frog. I did all the voices in Atomix. That was, you know, frame or two was cut from that. Let's see. And that's basically a loop that I created. and I would play it. I would record the dialogue in what was it, Creative Play Center or something, something Dark Side, something Sith. Let's see what else is there that I can really show them. Let's see what this is. Test part 3. This could be.
Oh, great, it talks! Nothing yet. But you won't be hearing much more unless you turn over that warhead right now. You got it, man. Oh, yeah? Yeah! Well then, you better tell me who's got it. I don't know nothing. Oh, yes. Where are they going? That's done. Oh, my claws.
That last bit was cut from Atomix, but a lot of that was trimmed. The gaps in between, the frogs' lines of dialogue, like "I ain't got it, man," or yeah, all of that was trimmed down by a second or two. MGI Video Wave 4 is not like Final Cut Pro or even iMovie where you can trim by a fraction of a frame, or a fraction of a second, I should say. Or you can't trim frame by frame. You would basically have to break all the images down into like single images or whatever. And even then, it would only let you import by, a fraction of a second and not by, a frame rate, like 30 frames equals a second or 24 frames equals a second, so on and so forth. So that's basically what I was working with. And in post-dubbing the animation, I had to make absolutely certain that I played the thing back, a certain amount of times, just so that I could get, when I was recording the dialogue, to get it just right, so that this way it would look somewhat synchronized. Nowadays, I hardly ever go into production and post-dub dialogue. As a matter of fact, I can't remember the last time I did that, because it's so much easier to animate to something. It gets that that worry out of the way for me. That I'm like, oh yeah, this is talking, so it's gonna be like, since I've been able to do that, I've been able to fake some things, and I've also been able to get a few other things into the animation that I previously, hadn't thought of. Because when you're in the middle of animating dialogue and you have this great idea, well, if you really want to put it in, then it's just it's not exactly all that easy to get in there. Let's see, what other goodies do I have in here to show off? There really isn't a whole heck of a lot, because yeah, I don't know. This is a little weird. What the hell's this? Oh, okay. Yeah. Maybe the Atomix trailer is somewhere in here? Yes? No? Maybe? Mm-mm. I could swear I could swear that I had the trailer in here. The trailer exists, I just don't know where. Okay. So what I'm going to show you now is what a folder, you know what, that's too boring. I have this big, expensive piece of equipment next to me. I keep forgetting where the damn camera is. I wonder if anyone is watching this on the Facebooks. Let's see if anyone's watching me on the Facebooks. Do-do-do-do. Okay. Sometimes I forget what I'm doing. All right, I think we might do some drawing because I got this this big, expensive hunk of something here. So let's see, who are we going to draw? Let's draw Luckyzilla's alter ego, Bruce Deodato. Now, first and foremost, Luckyzilla is Bruce Deodato, and Bruce Deodato is Luckyzilla. That's the first thing that you have to understand when you're drawing this character, is that his complexion, the shape of his head, his face, everything should be, I mean, he's human, of course, but he's got to resemble Luckyzilla. It's got to be in his eyes, it's got to be in his nose, and of course it's got to be in the colors, but, you know, one thing at a time. So first and foremost, like anything else, rough it out. You know, break down the face a little bit. You know, don't overdo it. Group that, and let's also lock it to the background. First and foremost, the eyes. The eyes are usually the first thing of Bruce's that I draw. Now, I mean, there are certain liberties, not to sound hypocritical, that you can take. You know, Bruce's nose obviously transforms when he becomes Luckyzilla. His ears should be a much rounded form of Lucky's ears. In hell, if I wanted to redesign Lucky right now, there we go. And don't forget, whoops, don't forget that overbite. He's got to have a tie. He's a professional. You should dress professionally. Unlike me, I'm at home on a Sunday when I should be doing laundry, and it's getting closer and closer to that time where I got to get the hell out of here and go over to my parents' house to do laundry. Eyebrows are important. Don't make them too fuzzy because that's that's just a little overkill. Got the wrinkles in his forehead because, you know, he's a bit of an older dude. I shouldn't say that, you know, he's old or anything, because I give his age at 44 years. Let's zoom in a little bit to draw the head. I feel like I'm getting more and more nearsighted by the day. And this line that we draw, this line that we just drew, we're kind of going to have to erase the majority of. We're using it as a guide. There's a guy that I knew, who I've unfortunately lost touch with, though I saw him recently. His name was Maranthus Myrtle. He had this hairline that was very interesting. And incidentally, he was the first live-action Bruce Deodato. When I decided back in 2006, since, you know, getting a new animated Lucky off the ground was kind of difficult, that I was going to do a live-action one instead. And I mean, that was fun. It unfortunately didn't go anywhere. But Ram left a considerable impression on me, so I more or less, I guess, paid tribute to the time where we were friends, and, you know, because Bruce still sort of bears a certain resemblance to Ram. I think it's all the better. Ram's an attractive dude. And for the hell of it, let's just color him in. Or at least what we can color of him. And one thing that is important to note is that Bruce's skin color is the same color as Lucky's nose. And that, among other reasons, is how you can tell that Bruce Deodato is Luckyzilla and vice versa. But I mean, it starts with the eyes. So, yeah. All right. So, now what I think we're going to do is we're going to draw Bruce Deodato's female companion, Harmony D'Angelo. Now, how did I come up with the name Harmony D'Angelo? That's a very loaded question. I mean, I was looking to go the superhero route with Lucky in 1999. I made a slideshow cartoon called Luckyzilla Takes Over, which Harmony does not appear in. But as soon as I started going the route of, you know, making Lucky a detective or whatever, naturally, I started thinking he should have a love interest. So I started fishing around, and somehow, some way, the name Harmony D'Angelo just kind of, sort of popped into my head. And she was a lot different. She was definitely more of a side character, kind of like a Moneypenny, or that psychiatrist lady from Lethal Weapon. She plays no real essential part in the story, although I was trying to go the route of, you know, making her the straight up love interest. And I'm not going to spoil anything because, you know, there's a whole animated Luckyzilla series that I'm planning, and I kind of want you know, I don't want to spoil anything too soon because I'm funny like that. All right, we've got a lot of harmony on right here. We're not going to go any lower than the shoulders or whatever, because then I would have a little too much fun with that. Maybe it's because I'm a man, or it's because I don't know. We won't even touch that right now. Okay. I have seen a good chunk of the classic anime series Astro Boy, which I honestly have to say is my all-time favorite anime. Kevin Lasani and I, when we were animating the high school drama show, would watch the black and white Mushi series from 1963. And I mean, we just fell in love with it. It was so absurd. It was so ridiculous. The animation was painfully limited, but it just kind of, you know, spoke to us in such a way that, you know, we didn't feel all the pressure in the world now to do full animation on the high school drama show. Not that we really set out to do that in the first place, but you know, we learned a few techniques that, although they were primitive even by 1963 standards, you know, they still worked, because I mean, they were able to get these shows out on television relatively quickly. The eyes are a very important part of Harmony. She's a very expressive character. It's like something goes wrong, Harmony is usually right at the front of it. Now, right here is important to note, because Harmony does not have, you know, a chin quite like Bruce. And I mean, what I've been taught and what I've seen is that the woman's features should always be rounder. I mean, generally. I don't like these eyelashes. Originally, this most recent design of Harmony was totally traced over from a character in the second episode of the original Astro Boy. It was this dancing robot that gets destroyed by Colosso, better known as Frankenstein in the Japanese original. Now, very important to note about Harmony, she's got very thick eyebrows. She doesn't have a unibrow, she just has very thick eyebrows, like her father, Frank D'Angelo. Now, originally, Harmony wore hoop earrings, but after a while, I just got tired of drawing them that way. So, you know, every female wears pearl earrings, and that's also a little too generic for me. It almost seems like, you know, they're trying to streamline things too much. You know, and I didn't want to streamline anything. So I was eating Doritos as I was trying to redesign Harmony, and then I started thinking, oh, that's it. And so I do, and that was basically it. I had it right there. You know. black pearls because, well, there's a story there. I don't want to reveal it too soon. And no lipstick. No lipstick. Every other cartoon chick has lipstick. So, you know, there's no reason for her to, at least in my opinion. So now what we're going to do is we're going to color Harmony in. I only drop that black in there so this way it can convert it to like a live paint. Harmony's skin is very, very light. She's practically like a bright white. I wanted it that way for certain reasons, which I will not get into right now. Not because it's politically incorrect, but because it reveals story material that I don't want to reveal too soon. She's got a very chestnut colored hair. She's got green eyes, which is her least favorite color. And that's basically Harmony. I wasn't presenting any of that to anybody. Ugh. All right. Okay. I wonder how much of that is actually presented. Now I gotta go back and see. Oops. Let's see. Okay, good. All of it. I got a little nervous. Okay, so I've been streaming for just a little over an hour. I've more or less celebrated the anniversary of the release of Atomix from 2004. I've shown you how I draw Bruce Deodato, the alter ego of Luckyzilla, and Harmony D'Angelo, Bruce's right-hand woman and Lucky's constant rescuee. I'm blanking out. So I think it's a good time for me to call this a session. And if you have any questions, you can reach Luckyzilla on Facebook. You can send us a message there. You can tweet at us at Luckyzilla. You can email us. You know, if it's just you know what, you keep all messages, all questions, send through the Luckyzilla Facebook page. Other than that, some great news, of course, I mentioned earlier in the week. We will be at Newark Comic-Con, that's Newark, New Jersey, on Saturday, August 20th. Let me just make sure that I have the details right. Okay, Saturday, August 20th from 9 a.m. until 8 p.m. at the Waterfront Place behind Bear Stadium, 1100 McCarter Highway, Newark, New Jersey, and the zip code is 07102. I will be there selling Luckyzilla comics. I will be selling Luckyzilla #1 and the new Luckyzilla #2. I just had the copies printed. They're all ready to go. They're all ready to be sold, ready for happy homes. The second Luckyzilla comic will also be available online for purchase, either as a digital copy or as a printed copy, plus shipping and handling. I would also like to make an announcement based on those, that if you buy both Luckyzilla #1 and Luckyzilla #2, either at the show or online, and I'm talking about printed copies, it's $4 each rather than $5 each. And you get a little surprise. You get a little surprise, I should say. Okay, let me back up a sec. If you come to see me at Newark Comic Con and you buy both Luckyzilla #1 and Luckyzilla #2, you will get a surprise. That surprise is not available online. You can still, however, get Lucky 1 and 2 for $8 plus shipping and handling. It's also going to be available for $4 each for the digital editions. So yeah, no real special deal on that. I'm just, you know, I feel a little sheepish. I feel a little sheepish saying that, but if I change my mind, you'll see it on the website, or I will make an offer on Facebook. So for right now, I am going to get the hell out of here so that I can actually adult today. And I also have something else going on, which I can't really talk about, but you'll see. So anyways, happy anniversary to Atomix. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter at Luckyzilla. And subscribe to us here on YouTube for more live streams. I think, you know, I'm going to be doing these once a week, but if you miss me one Sunday, you can at least watch the replays. There's enough of a replay to watch. So, yeah, take care and stay lucky.